Play-by-play, I am Spencer Linton. That is Dave McCann. Joining us now on Zoom is now a member of the BYU men's cross country and track and field team. He is a transfer, Thomas Boyden, with us. Thomas, welcome to BYU Sports Nation as you make your debut here. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
You are certainly a reputable name in the running community, and this is an exciting time for BYU track and field and cross country as they welcome you in. Because you are such a hot commodity, when you throw your name in the transfer portal, basically it feels like you can go anywhere you want. So why BYU for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say it mainly boiled down to sort of two things. I'm from Salt Lake, so I originally in high school trained at altitude, and I kind of really wanted to get that back. Being in Palo Alto, we're right next to the ocean, so not as fortunate as you guys in terms of the training environment. And then the second factor is I really wanted to work with Coach Eyestone and the men's team as a whole. They have a lot of momentum right now, obviously coming off the national championship, and I just thought it was a perfect match, and it's kind of something I've been thinking about for a little bit now.
Well, Thomas, we do have the mountains and the thin air, but you have the beach, so remember that. So we're envious of life in the Bay Area. How many seconds can you trim off running in the thin air that we have up here as opposed to at Stanford?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, I guess you could say. I don't know. I got big goals. I hit some two or three big PRs this indoor season, but I think that's kind of just a start. A lot of it has to do as well with just being healthy. It's the number one most important thing in the sport, and I think if I continue to stay healthy and I sort of go up to 5,000 feet, I think the adaptations that'll come with that will result in a lot of success and even bigger gains next year.
How has your time at Stanford prepared you for the obvious challenges and new competition level that you will see at BYU?
Totally. I mean, my first few years at Stanford were obviously in the Pac-12, rest in peace, but now we're in the ACC, which is also a pretty loaded conference track-wise and cross-country-wise. So definitely had a tough schedule, both in cross and in indoor track. And so I think the transition will be pretty, not easy, but similar to sort of what I'm dealing with right now competition-wise. And hopefully I'll be in a much stronger position with that altitude and just all the great teammates I'll have.
Thomas Boyden's with us on BYU Sports Nation, coming to run for BYU. This track and field and cross-country outfit here in Provo is off the charts. It seems like they win or set records every week. What's the outside perception, having spent some time away from here, when it comes to BYU track and field that you want to be a part of?
Yeah, definitely was a massive year for you guys this year, both on the men's and women's side. And sort of I want to be part of that. And I think a lot of that momentum is something that I look forward to taking advantage of and helping propel my own individual career forward. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of positive buzz surrounding the program right now, both in cross country and track. And yeah, I really want to be a part of that.
Thomas, you mentioned Ed Eyestone and specifically wanting to work with him. What is it about his coaching style that you feel like will resonate with you and help you go to a next level, maybe an Olympic level?
Totally, yeah. I mean, for one, he's obviously a great leader, and that's super integral to the sport, especially at the elite level. But on top of that, I think sort of his emphasis on sort of the more strength side of running is something that's really going to benefit me, especially when you do it at that altitude. I think kind of the strength side of running has been my weakness, and I think he's really going to help me bolster that, which will ultimately enable me to run a lot faster and hopefully have even more success next year.
Well, Thomas, you're not the first Boyden to run at BYU. Your mom ran track here. How cool is that to extend the family legacy here in Provo? What role did that have in your decision?
Totally, yeah. No, my mom ran in the late 90s, and I mean, she's obviously talked to me about it a lot. It was a completely different program back then with different coaches, but they won, I don't know how many cross-country titles. It was a lot. So she definitely had good things to say, and it wasn't the only reason I came, obviously, but sort of having that continuity and familiarity is definitely a positive aspect when you're trying to make a decision as hard as this one.
Thomas, as you watch several BYU athletes, in fact, 8, I believe, from track and field specifically, maybe it was 7 in the Olympic Games in Paris in 2024. How does that resonate with you? Like that, because that, to me and to us here, that was a big number to watch BYU in the track and field events represented by 7 different people there on the highest stage.
Totally, yeah. That was absolutely insane. And especially a lot of them are obviously from Utah or at the very minimum train in Utah. So I'm definitely know a lot of them and have sort of been looking up to a lot of them, especially Conner. And so, yeah, I mean, there's obviously watching it is crazy, but I'm even more excited to work with him next year. 3 of them obviously aren't on the team anymore, but James is still on the team. It'll be great to train with him and hopefully get in with that marathon squad once a week, once every 2 weeks, and just sort of get put through the gutter in a good way. And I think that'll pay dividends on the track come outdoor season.
You bring up specifically Conner Mantz, and obviously he has made a name for himself in the marathon world. So what do you, is it safe to say that is the goal? You want to be a marathoner like Conner Mantz, or is there something additional to that in terms of your big goals?
Yeah, you know, in terms of like long-term goals like that, I don't know exactly where I lie in terms of my event group. I think I do have a lot of natural speed, so I kind of see myself staying on the track a little bit longer. I don't think I'd make as quick of a transition to the marathon as he did, but definitely open to running halves and marathons in the future at some point. I don't think I'm there yet. I need to run a lot more mileage, and I've been hurt a lot at Stanford prior to getting healthy, so I feel like I still have a lot more sort of like track meat left on my bones, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think eventually I'll probably run some marathons and as I get older. But for right now, I think I'm more my talent is more geared towards that 5K, 10K, which is still a very long event, obviously. But yeah, it'll be great to work with him and those other guys as well, especially with Eyestone leading the ship.
Well, Thomas, let's talk about covering ground, because you do that in your runs. But Stanford, and then here to BYU, and then I think the plan is to UCLA for law school after this. And so that means you're in the Pac-12, and now you're coming to the Big 12, and then you're going to go to the Big 10, and Stanford's currently in the ACC. So that's 4. That's the Power 4. That's all 4.
Yeah.
What? How do you explain that?
How do you get the SEC involved?
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy. I mean, for right now, the focus is running, and I've been admitted to UCLA. I'm going to defer that for at least a year, hopefully more if running goes as well as I think it will next year. But my sister, she actually plays soccer at UCLA, so that'll be great too. Eventually, when I do go there, just for my career outside of running, it'll be fun to sort of go somewhere that I have roots at as well. But yeah, it's a lot of conferences, and hopefully, I think if I get all Big 12 next year, then I would have one in Pac-12, ACC, and the Big 12, which is probably a record, I would guess.
Feels like that's a record.
but yeah, no, it's kind of wild. Definitely a lot of teams I'll be seeing over the course of my collegiate career.
That's awesome.
Hey, let's make some history. Let's get a third all-conference honor. Thomas, great to have you at BYU. We wish you the best as you finish up your classes at Stanford this semester and make the transition over to Provo. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the time.
You got it. Thomas Boyden, BYU men's cross-country track and field transfer, and a new face coming to Provo.